Dudes to Dads, brought to you by Dad University, is a podcast to help men understand and navigate the transition of being a single dude into a family man. How do we make sense of it all? Well, we probably won't be able to, but let's go ahead and have some fun trying. And we are back.
We are back.
We are. I'm Jason Kreidman.
I'm Alan Bush.
And this is Dudes to Dads. Again. Episode 167.
Yeah.
Ready? Ready for it? Ready?
Yes. Power through.
Achieving self-acceptance.
All right.
Are you ready for this one?
Totally.
Well, it's because you have good self-acceptance.
Kind of.
You don't even need this.
Yeah.
Good night.
I'm an apathetic psychopath. I don't care.
There you go. So we often use the word self-esteem. Self-esteem is a big, popular word in the world of self-improvement.
You're right.
It just is.
Yeah.
People make movies about it. There's just a lot of talk about low self-esteem.
Yeah.
Probably more often, and criticizing people with low self-esteem. But people strive to have, quote, good self-esteem, which is like feeling good and great about yourself. Mm-hmm. It's about like having confidence in your own abilities and your own self-worth. And it's usually, that's why I said it's usually connotates like a positive thing, or that's what you're striving towards. Like you're striving towards having good self-esteem.
Yeah.
But it's about evaluating our worth. And there's some negative things about that. That's not a great concept in helping people, like you're okay to strive to things, but when you don't think that you are achieving that, it's very, very negative, and it has a negative impact on people.
Well, this is very timely. I know some people that have talked to me about something similar in context of like their self-worth. They're almost overachievers in some level, but when they don't achieve that thing, then it brings some form of anxiety or stress or whatever it is to themselves.
Are you talking about me?
No, but if the shoe fits. Right. No, but I mean, and you understand this more than anybody. But yeah, it is interesting. And I've been through that myself, like, a while ago, where I tied my self-esteem and self-worth to these tangible achievements that I had to reach. But eventually learned that, thrive for things and get ahead if you can on certain things, and not even about getting ahead. It's just achieve rather than obtain.
Right.
And I think that's the problem, is that we think about obtaining things rather than achieving things, and achieving things takes a little bit longer than just obtaining things.
Right. So it's like this intangible. So there's the other concept, which is, I think, more appropriate and better for our well-being and our health and mental health, is self-acceptance. So self-acceptance, on the other hand, it allows you to be aware of your strengths and weaknesses and accept those. It allows you to accept everything. And it's the acceptance of the fact that I have weaknesses and I make mistakes and I have good things too. That encompasses all of it. So whereas self-esteem is sort of this unachievable construct that you're like trying to feel good about yourself or whatever like I said, your worth. Self-acceptance is much different. You don't have to wish you were different than you currently are. Right. Because self-acceptance is accepting your current state. Right. Who you are, flaws and all, everything. So that concept to me is much more exciting and much more interesting and much more valuable than self-esteem. It's defining it differently. Right. So how do we increase our self-acceptance, and accepting of who we are now in the present? So the first one is practice gratitude. So when you practice gratitude, it forces you to focus on things in your life that are positive. When you're grateful for what you have, you begin to ignore the negative things. When we did a podcast that gratitude is the cure for depression, because just what repeating it again.
Yeah.
It makes you focus on the positive.
For sure.
That's what happens with gratitude. So practicing gratitude, whether it's a gratitude journal, whether it's every day saying a couple things that you are grateful for, all of those things are really, really helpful. Number 2, celebrate your strengths. Mm-hmm. And so what that means is think about the things that you are good at. Again, focuses on the positive. Mm. Do not spend time on things that you are not good at. This is very Gary Vee-esque. That
I would honestly not necessarily disagree with that, but some things you might not be immediately good at. You may have to practice to get good at.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Whether it be a martial art or drawing or
but okay.
Podcasting.
So, but here's the thing. Those might be things that you want to be good at.
Yeah.
Versus things that you feel like you might have to be good at.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I mean, I think of it more of even for a child. Mm-hmm. Like when we put our children in piano lessons and they've been in the piano lessons for 6 months and they're really horrible at piano.
Right.
They don't need to play piano.
They don't have the aptitude for certain
Now,
things.
if they love piano, they love going to the class, they love the instructor, they love learning, great. Keep them in piano. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
But to have kids and ourselves and people like doing things that we don't enjoy that aren't really like requirements of life. I mean, it's one thing if like doing chores or something.
Right,
but
right.
Like things that aren't really like, don't spend time on that stuff then. Mm-hmm. And I think, we might have some weaknesses, but I also think even too, whether it is tasks, whether it's even some, it could be some emotional things. Like if you're not good at those things, but it doesn't bother anybody and you don't, then who cares? Like, don't worry about it. Don't spend time on it, but if you really want to develop that, that's the question. Is it worth going after those things and spending the time on it versus double, triple down on the things that you're really good at?
Right.
Right. Find your niche, find friends who are in sync with you, who do appreciate the things that you like and who you are versus trying to convince people that, these other friends that's who you should be friends with. You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, totally.
Number 3, help others. So being unselfish can actually, help you feel quite good. Mm-hmm. Some people will say being selfish makes you feel good, but being unselfish can. So when we help others, there's actually chemical reactions that happen in the body. Mm-hmm. And we can feel better about ourselves by helping other people.
Sure.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Helping people is a good thing.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with you feeling good about yourself as a result of helping those people. There's nothing wrong with that.
Like enlightened egoism.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's okay. It's okay to, there's a reason why people dedicate their lives to helping people. Mm-hmm. It feels good.
Sure.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's positive reactions from that. They feel better about themselves. They feel like they're making a contribution. And they're helping other people.
Right.
And it feels, quote, selfless. Or like that, or not even feel. That's like the thought.
Yeah.
But it's not.
No, it is.
It really feels good.
No, that's the thing. It's funny because altruism almost doesn't exist in that context because it's like altruism saying, well, you're not getting anything from it. No, you are getting something from it. It's just a feeling of feeling good about yourself from it, which is fine. That's great.
Totally fine. Number 4, don't take things personally. So I know it's hard to believe, but it's not all about you. And when people are critical, they're the ones with the issue. If somebody is being mean, they're the one with the anger problem. Mm. It's not your issue. It's not your fault. So oftentimes, I think some people that have the self-acceptance issue are feeling judged, are feeling these things from outside forces,
right,
when it's really not about them. If somebody's being critical of them, that's that person's fault. Mm-hmm. Like they're the ones who are critical. It's their issue, not yours. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a interesting concept, an interesting thing, but it's very, very true. So just don't take things personally. It's just, hey, it's that easy.
I have a little story about that. I had well, just to save face and save names. This was years ago, but a friend said about another friend that person thought I was a bit of a hermit and kind of a recluse. And I'm like, so I don't care what they say. Yeah, I am that way. Like, well, they're talking crap about you. I was like, whatever. Right. And I didn't take offense, and I'm still friends with both of them. And it didn't matter that they said such and such about me at that time. Right. I'm like, hey, would you say?
Yeah, you should see some of the things or hear some of the things that my best friends say about me.
Right, to each other. Yeah. You know, it's like I understand that I have these weird quirks and capabilities. They're just pointing out what their observations are. As long as they're cool with me, I don't really care. Right. And that's it. Kind of
keep coming back.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, exactly. Look, you apparently want me to go out, right. So apparently I'm not that bad of a guy.
Yeah, it's like I'm not paying for it. So it's exactly. Like they're not using.
So yeah, exactly. So it was just kind of interesting that like I hit a realization about myself that it wasn't that I was trying not to care. I genuinely did not care whether or not that person said X, Y, or Z about me because I knew I'm cool with them and I'm not that close where that's really going to impact me for one. And for two, why do I care about what they said about some observation of me that's actually true? Right. Yeah, I am kind of reclusive at the time. Right. You know,
well, but then that's not something that bothers you about yourself.
Yeah, I'm like,
that's some of the things that like
not a negative trait to me. We
did the topic on judgmental or being judgmental, and I just did a video on being judgmental, and basically it's we get upset at the things that we often have as weaknesses.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that's part of it is that you just don't have an issue with that element of yourself. So if somebody else is going to be critical about it, you don't care.
I'm like, I'm a hermit. Yeah, I get it.
But if there was something that you have an issue with,
right,
and then somebody comments on it, you might be more inclined to care.
And I might have had a real slight issue with it, but you're right. It was more that I didn't really care whether or not that was a thing about me. It's like, okay, I get it. But yeah, it could turn into
There's some other sensitive things you might...
There might be, someone might have poked a different hair on me and I'd have been like, what? Yeah. You know, so the whole different thing.
Yeah, that's how it works. Number 5, just lower your expectations. I mean, just... Are your expectations too high? And the answer is yes, if you're not accepting yourself. That's simple.
Sure.
So it's okay to have goals, but when your expectations are too high, you're never going to meet them. Mm-hmm. And if you require yourself to meet your own expectations in order to be happy, it's a losing proposition and you will never be happy.
Right.
So either don't have expectations, because people that don't have expectations live pretty nicely.
Yeah.
I mean, smooth and happy. And but when you have very high expectations, it can ruin things.
Yeah.
And that's, forget about expectations on other people. That's a whole other topic.
Yeah. But
the expectations for yourself.
Yeah.
And I've had that check often where, I'm not doing enough in this area. Even like when we do the podcast or I do the videos or whatever, like even that stuff.
It's like never really being happy with the end goal, because there's never an end goal. It's a constant chasing the next thing.
Right.
Never living in the moment and going, wow, I really appreciate this for what it is. I've talked to people like that who are in positions of power and stuff. And, I did a while ago talk to a business owner, and he stopped and went, wow, I actually really appreciate what's going on right now. And this is the first time in a long time that I ever felt that way. It's because he always pushed himself and doing those. And that's good for a business owner to do those things, to push themselves forward. But for self-worth,
right,
because that's more of a thing about his business. But for someone to do that about themselves, it's like you're never satisfied.
Yeah, I did that about the podcast where I was like, I just haven't promoted it like I want to. Yeah. Haven't done enough episodes. And then, somebody on the outside, an old person I used to do business with, they're like, you've done all of that?
Yeah.
Like consistently every week for 2 years or 3 years or whatever it is,
How much content
that
is.
You're right. Like, I took a step back. I'm like, I guess that is pretty good.
I told some coworkers, I'm like, yeah, I'm going into these, tonight, whatever, and record the podcast. And they're like, oh, cool. And I go, yeah, 167 episodes later, we're doing X. And they're like, what? You had that much? You've done that many? Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
It is a lot.
It's a lot. You accumulate over time. That's a lot.
It's a lot of talking. It's a lot of content.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people hearing me and, and hearing you. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And then the last one, number 6, surround yourself with positive people.
Yeah.
So you need to take inventory of those around you. And unfortunately, it can be friends, family, significant others, people that are not supportive or are negative and they're not supportive of you, you might want to consider not being around them or reducing the amount of time you spend with them.
It's really the source. That's a huge thing for me too. Is like being around. I mean, you can't always control that. So you have to consider if a lot of people around me are perpetually negative, perpetually about themselves, about other people, they're just tearing everyone else down, including you at times.
Yeah, even if it's a work environment where you say, well, I can't really get out of it. That's how people, I'd find another job.
Because the thing is, like, thankfully, I've been in most work environments I've been in, especially in our industry, have been, for the most part, positive. People are genuinely caring and try to help each other out. But I do know corporate environments prior to that, there's drama within the workforce and people trying to make each other feel bad about stuff because they don't feel good about themselves.
Well, family is guilty of that, too.
Family is a huge thing.
Like that they're not going to be supportive of what you're trying to do. And I mean, especially parents with their children, even as you get older, let's say you're you're at college age or you're at the where you're going to get your first job and your parent, or even let's say you want to be an entrepreneur or you want to do something, in the arts or whatever. And the parent not supporting that for you to find your own way, it's troubling. Yeah. It's troubling that somebody could have a passion or somebody could be really love what they do, but the parent has their own view of something.
Right.
You might just want to talk to them less. And it sucks because they are somebody that you love and care about.
Yeah, you care about them, but
breaking away is going to probably be good for you.
And that is true for a lot of people who are in circumstances like that. Their energy constantly gets beaten down by people that are negative because they're negative to everybody.
Yeah, and spouses too. Or
moth to the flame. Yeah, it is. Yeah, spouses. Again, the people that are closest to you sometimes can be the most damaging if they're negative.
Right.
So you got to be around people that are going to be at least support, not just blowing up your ego.
To my wife for sticking with me.
Exactly.
I've gotten more positive.
Thanks, Jason's wife.
Yeah, well, I've gotten more positive, but I've said before, it's like she was the one who would wake up, turn, open the blinds, like every day was like sunshine, Right. And I just
animals came to the windows. I was saying,
yeah, I mean, because I was the close the window, everything sucks, that's more how I was, and she was just like happy all the time, and I was drawn to that.
Yeah,
and it's just it's a very it's a very nice thing to have in your life, and my kids now are my kids wake up happy, for the most part. I mean, granted, look at us at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night could be a totally different story.
Right. They haven't eaten in a while. It's a little
it's something that you want to surround yourself with people that are positive and support you and have your back, however you want to say it.
Sure.
So take some inventory and look at, the 5 closest people around you. And if a couple of them are not that way, change them up.
Yeah.
Get some new friends, get some new family.
That's the hardest one, the family part. I heard a quote from the great orator Chuck D. If I can't change the people around me, I'll change the people around me.
There you go. Chuck D is a genius.
Yeah, he's pretty much, yes.
Anything else, Alan? If they have questions, comments, feedback, what should they do?
They should email us, podcast@dudesToDads.com. Hit us up on our many social media channels, Twitter @DudesToDads, Facebook, DudesToDads.com, YouTube, Dad University, and Dudes to Dads. A lot of great videos and great stuff up there. And please go to iTunes and Stitcher and subscribe to those channels. Subscribe to the YouTube while you're at it. And leave some 5-star reviews or a thumbs up or give us some advice of what we could do better that we would love to help. But please subscribe to those channels, that it helps perpetuate the show.
Right on. Alan, as always, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will see you next time.
See you next time.